Okay, we're up to Ayin Aleph Amid Beis. Ayin Aleph Amid Beis, when the sugya of Naim Rasa, that a father and in conjunction with the husband can go ahead and be made for the neder. We said there's two ways to keep a neder intact: either be Mekayim the neder or being quiet and letting the day pass. Good. Gemara has a very interesting shaila now. What happens if the day doesn't pass, but in between the time of the neder, he divorces her and then remarries her? So he divorces her and he has charata and he remarries her on the same day. So the Ran points out, lav dafka him, it could be somebody else. You can just move on one seat because again, we like five people here and we're blocking the guy. He likes it. He never complains. I complain. He sits there, just like a shiva. Anyway, so they thought to get away with it, Mr. Branca. Anyway, so the shaila is, how do you view a get? Giving a get. Do you view it as an act of hakama, meaning since he wasn't made for the neder, he gave her a get, it's like being making it? Or do you view it as shtika, as just being quiet? Why would nafkamina be? When he remarries her and it's still within the same day, could he be made for it then? If you hold it as kiyum, he won't be able to be made for the neder because he was mekayim it, right? But if you hold it shtika, so he still has the time, as long as the day didn't pass, he still has time to go ahead and take off the neder. That's the Gemara Shaila. Iboilu. Gerishin kishtika damya. Gerushin is like an act of shtika, or is it hakama? Now, l'may nafkamina, kigoin shenodra, she made a neder. V'shama baila, he heard of it, and he didn't do anything. He wasn't making it. However, v'girsha, he was megarisha. V'hadra b'yomi, and he took it back the same day. If you hold this like shtika, matzi meifala, because it was definitely mekuyim. The act of gerushin is not an act of kiyum, so he'd be able to go ahead and be mefer. However, however, if it's akama, he won't go ahead and be mefer.
Why don't you like making it like how you get making it? What is it?
Oh, so look at the Ran, right? Says the Ran, iboilahu, about 7 lines up in the bottom. Gerushin mishum the kimin the yada oris. Since he knows after he divorces her, he can't be made for it. It's the act of gerushin, he's no longer the husband. Good? So now, v'loy hafer koydem gerushin, and he didn't take it off beforehand, he's bothering your question, Harry. He's saying, in other words, since he knows that if he divorces her, he can't take it off because he's no longer the husband, maybe that's tantamount to an act of kiyum. So he's bothered by your question, and he answers it.
At that moment, when the divorce, doesn't the father take, because she was heiressing, the father
You still have that day. You're still within the day. You're still within the day.
You still need the vow.
You're still within the day. He
can come back.
Yeah.
Why did we go back to what we said before? Because all back there.
Okay, we're going to see. I think the Gemara is going to discuss it. Okay, we'll see. The Gemara is going to, I think, bring up that point. Okay. The Ran also makes a very interesting point, just to theorize the Gemara a little bit. Let's do the Ran. Let's do the Ran 1, 2, 5 lines in the bottom. You're going to Nodru V'Shama Baila B'Girsha. Okay, let's do that one. Kigoin, the Nodra V'Shama Baila V'Girsha. She made a neder, the Baal heard and divorced. Hai Baila, the Ka'ami Oris Dafkahu. Guys, usually when we say Baila, you know what that means? That means Nesuin. That means your full-fledged husband. It means after the second stage of marriage. So the Ran is pointing out, when it says over here Baila, it does not mean that. It means Oris. It means the betrothed, the first stage of marriage. Dafkahu. The Ibn is Sua, guys, because if it's speaking that she was in a Sua, Afilu Timsalaima de Gerishin Kishtika Damya, if you're going to say Gerishin is Kishtika, Heichi Matzi Mefer, how could he go ahead and be Mefer? In other words, what's going to happen? Guys, look, let's go through, let's theorize. They were married, Nesuin, right? And he divorces her, right? He takes her back. Eina Baal Mefer B'Koidman. We have a rule. An Aris can be made for a neder that was born into the marriage. An Aris can be made for a neder. That's the whole. The chiddush of Naim Rasa, even if it's a neder, according to the marriage, he could be mefer, but a Baal cannot. So if it's speaking about Nesua, meaning they were married, he divorced her and remarried her, Nesuin, he can't be made for that. That's made for Bekoidman. So obviously it can't be misspeaking Nesuin. Continues the Ran. The Eve da Hadre be Arusa Bilachud, Kim the Oris Aina Mefer, El Bishutfis, the Hoka Leka Av, the Kim Shenisas Shuvain Lavia Rishuspa, I feel Tim Salem Kishtikadam Yele Matsi Mefa. Guys, if you're going to tell me that that even if it's Kishtika, if it's speaking about this, let's say she was in a sewer and she got now she was an arusa. No, it's an aris. She's out of the rishus of the father. Now the manushach. In other words, here's the following: if he was married, it must be that here's what happened. She was an arusa, and he remarried her as an arusa, and that's the shaila. So here's the shaila at hand. A man was betrothed to a woman. He was an aris. What should have happened? The father and him should have taken off the neder. He didn't take off the neder. He divorced her. Question. And then he remarried her the same day. Is the father still a player here? Absolutely. Father's still a player. She's a naira. She's an arusa. Is the husband still a player here? That's the shaila. If he was Megarishin, will view it as a kiyum, because since he knows once he divorces her, he loses it, then he can be mefer. If, however, we view Gerishin as shtika, being quiet, since it's within the window when you can go ahead and take off the neder, you will be able to take it off. Says the Ran, it's got to be speaking an arusa, can't be speaking about an asua. Meaning, let's say the husband was an arusa, and now he takes it back as an asua. Yeah, he married her fully. No can do. Why? Ein habal mefer b'koidman. Good. What happens if she was in asua and now she becomes an arusa? Then the father can't take it off. Why? Because the father lost his right when she was in the sewer. So Al Karchach must be speaking. She was an arusa and she's still an arusa, and he's an aris. That's the Ran is just fearing us the studim of the shaila. Again, it's very very repetitive. We should by now know a little bit about it, right? It's a few days in. We should know a little bit about it. Okay, so that's the shaila. How do you view Gerishon? How do you view Gerishon? Tashma. Now, we had this. This is the shaila of Nisreikna, guys. What is Nisreikna? That the husband can bequeath to the father, right, the nether. He can inherit the nether and take off the Baal's half. No, it's not pshat that he's taking it off alone. He is, but he's taking off two parts. He's taking off his part, and he's inheriting taking off the Baal's part, right? That's pshat. Tashma. Emasai Omru Meis Habal Nisreikna Rishus La'av. When do we say when the husband dies, it reverts? It's inherited rishus to the father. Bisman shloi shama habal, either he didn't hear, or shama v'hefer, or he heard he took it off, or shama v'shasak umeis by bayoim, or he heard he was silent and he didn't take it off that day. So in other words, this was a player. In all these scenarios, guys, the nether is still alive. Let's go through the study. The father, he's in play, right? One, the husband in here. Is the nether still in play? Absolutely. The husband heard and took it off. Done. Husband heard, took it off, and died within the day. Still alive because it's within the day. So he didn't take it off. So now, so this is all now. The amit gerishin kishtika damu. If you're going to say gerishin, guys, is kishtika. If gerishin is like being quiet, listening nami oishama v'girish. You want to know? You want to know? In other words, there's another scenario where the neder is still in play. If you divorced that day and remarried her, right? That right? Now, if you can say Gerishin is Kishtika, listening Nami, Oishama v'girish, or he heard and divorced her. In other words, he didn't take her back. He heard, he divorced her, and that's it. This is Heshi your case, right? In other words, if it's Kishtika, that's good, yeah? Midaloi Tani Hachi, when we didn't give this scenario, Shmamina, Gerish Kakamadamu. It must be right. If you're divorced, you don't have the option of giving back. In other words, we're going through every scenario where the father alone would inherit the right to do it. If Gerishin is Kishtika, meaning it's still viable in that because he didn't take it off the husband, when he could have taken it off because it was still within that day, that's obviously must be Gerishin is Kakama when we didn't give this as an option. Ema Seifa, I'll ask you from Seifa. Aval im Shomar Vikiyim. This again, we had this. You remember, this is I read this through quickly. Right? Aval im Shama Vikiyim. If he heard it and he was Mekayim it, Oy Shama v'Shasak umeis biyoim shel achrav. He heard it, he was quiet, and you died the next day. 1 second, it's too late, right? So there's nothing to bequeath because it's the neder's mekuyim. Again, there's 2 ways to mekayim neder, either verbally or failure to do it in the day of biyom shamo. You're not able to go ahead wide and take it off. 1 second, okay. You're telling me that what? That Gerishin is kakama? You should have had that scenario in here, right? You should have said, I'm a Gerishin kakama damu, listening. Oy shama v'girish, or you heard and divorced her. Ela midolekatani hachi, when you didn't give Gerishin as an option, shmami no, Gerishin kishtika dami. Because Gerishin wouldn't have done the job. It still would be viable. It still would be alive. And it would be to the father. And it would be nisrekna to the father, right? So this is your classic, guys, taking a Bryce or a Mishnah, inferring one thing from the first, one thing from the second, and you always get the same answer. From here, you can't go be, Ella, what do you have to say? It says, Ella, what do you have to conclude? Why? Eresha dafka, if the ratio of that hakam it's dafka, the sea sefer mishum resha. We learned that the din of the sefer because of the ratio. So there's no raya that it's dafka. And he's sefer dafka that it's kishtika, dafka, nasiv resha, mishum sefer. So therefore, that's Lashon Nedarim speaking out the Stadim. There's no raya. So again, the shaila is still at hand. How do you view Gerishin? The shaila is still at hand. How do you view Gerishin? Okay. Tashma. Nadra v'hi arusa. Make a neder. V'hi arusa, and she's an arusa. Nadra v'hi arusa. You make a neder, and she's an arusa. Finis garsha. Finis arsa boy bayoim. Afilu lemeya, even to 100 people. Aviu baila achroin mefir nidareha. Now, obviously, that's imam. It's kishtika. Shmami no gerish kishtika dummy, guys. Why? Ika kama dummy mi matzi mefa aris achroin nidre the okam aris rishain. If the in other words, if he had gone ahead and been making the net, there's no. It's off, guys. Once again, Naira Marasa. Once if only one does it, that's it. So you're telling me that the act of divorce is tantamount with what? Hakama, then how in the world could the father take it off? And with in conjunction with the last husband. So therefore you have a raya that the act of gerushin must be kishtika. Says we know. You never heard it. Now, if you never heard it, guys, so why do you have to say boy bayoim? Remember, boy bayoim means it must be that the clock is ticking, right? We said yesterday, it must be the clock is ticking. Right? When you didn't hear it, guys. Because speaking that what boy bayom that it's ticking on the father someone heard it, but not the boy bayom who matzi the mefer. Only that they can even mefer. From that time onwards. So in other words, you don't have a raya vis-a-vis gerushin. The shaila of gerushin is only vis-a-vis the husband. But again, the boy bayom is the father. If the father, it's boy bayom heard it that day, even though the husband has no time limit over here. There's no time limitation because he never heard it. Nonetheless, it's limited to that frame of day because of the father. So we weren't placed the shaila yet.
Father can make for it that day, and then her Oris husband can have forever to.
Okay, not a problem. It's not a problem. Not a problem.
Father has to do that.
He has to do it that day. Correct. He has to do it. Again, it just said Avi Nodra via Rusa Miniskarshim Nisarsa Babayom Afilu Mea View Baila Akram at the end of the day, right? So what happens? The father does it that day, and whenever gets it around to the other guy, okay. I know. I think they have to be made for together at the same time.
We both have together.
They have They have to both be made for together. No, I think so. We said made for. Didn't we learn earlier the made for Shneim? They have to be made for the same time, right? They have to make for Shneim. Okay. Anyway, so it could be that that he, he's in Skarsha, and the boy by young we learn for the father, but the Achroin he would pass it along. Like she would be remarried that day. He never heard it. He never heard it, and he remarries that day. Yeah, that's the case. Okay, Tashma. Nadra boy bayoim. She makes a neder that day. Girsha, he divorces her. The Chsira boy bayoim returns it back that day. Ein yachal lahafer. Pretty clear, straightforward, right? Right. Shmamina. Gerishin ka'akamet dami. When he can't be made for it's mashma that what he was makayim the neder. Now the assumption is what are we speaking about? An oris. That's the assumption. You're not locked into that, are you? Ami hacha bin asu askinon. What are we speaking about? The suin. What? Well, of course. Why? No, not because of a comma.
Because the husband has the father going to do it.
No, come on, guys.
This is about-
Guys, why can't he do it? But come on, you look. Ein habal mefer b'kodman. What again? When you have a baal, again, this is all. It's all information, but let's get it. Let's get the ducks in a row. You have over here a situation called nesuin. What nesuin is guarantees that any neder made before the husband cannot take off, even if he heard the neder. No, it's not boigeris. It's nesuin. She could still be a naira. It's not aged out. She could still be a naira. Once she's in a suah, right? It's all over. Once it's in the suah, it's all over, right? Exactly. So the reason why you can't be made for here is because the husband's remarrying her. It's speaking, he took her back benesuin. So he can't take it off because an oris could be made for bekoidman. A baal can't be made for bekoidman, right? That's the key. So says the Gemara, Amri, I'll say hacha benesuin, asking him benesuin. Behind time within yachal lahafim mishom, the ein a baal made for bekoidman. Because the baal can't you could have changed. Yeah, but Baruch Hashem, you guys have it. I once went to a meeting of Magidi Shur, and they say, "What do you do about the guys who shepherd you with the art scroll?" I said, "I wish they would shepherd me with the art scroll." I said, "Baruch Hashem, they're I said, either I go too fast or they get total clarity. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to. Anyway." That's the Mishnah. Zing says the Mishnah on Ayin Beis Hamid Beis. Ayin Beis Hamid Beis. Okay. What can I tell you over here? Okay. You know this that a person. This is interesting relationship over here. You have this window of a naira. So you got a 6-month window, where both the husband and the aris are in cahoots to go ahead and take off the shutfis the neder, right? Many things can go wrong. They have to hear it on the same day. They have to take care of it on the same day, and you don't want nedarim. You don't want nedarim. Nedarim, as we saw, is not a great thing, guys. We said throughout the Masechta. Why does Rabbi Nassan say, "Kol hanoida kilu bana bama," like you build a private mizbeach, and kol mekayma, and it was mekayim is kiluat. It's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. It's Gemara in Yevamis and Kuftes. But Kapara says one of the things that you should check in Isha is as far as the Darim. You get rid of the Darim. So this Mishnah describes the action that Talmidei Chachamim would do to take care of a neder. The father would tell the girl who's entering into marriage, any neder that you had is gone. The husband, before he did Nisuin, she's an Arusa. So they're in a jurisdiction as Arusa. Before Nisuin, the father would say to her, anything is out. The husband before Nisuin would say, any ned is out. Like this, you got all your bases covered. Well, we said Kol Nidre. We said Kol Nidre is not like you think, right? Right? Kol Nidre was what is the Maranos. That's a great.
Wedding days like in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Anyways, let's not go there. Anyway,
It's on the resume.
Derech Talmidei Chachamim, Achlei Hoysa Bito Yotzam Etzloi, until his daughter left him, meaning Nisuin, because she's an Arusa, she's still in his Rishus. Achlei Hoysa Bito Yotzam Etzloi, Oimer Lo would say to her, Kol Nedarim Shenadart B'Seich Beisi Harihim Ufarim. Any neder that you made B'Seich Beisi, they are taken off. V'chein Baal Achlei Tikonis L'Rishusai, and the Baal, when he was still in Arus, before she became a Nesua, until you come into my Rishus, because once the Nesuin takes place, he's not able to go ahead. The father's not able to take it off because she's no longer in his Rishus, and the husband's not allowed to take it off because he can't be made for B'Koidman. Yes.
Don't you have to hear like?
Hang in there. Yes, Limar's kasha. That's the whole Gemara. Okay, that's the whole Gemara. But guys, you hear? Interesting. In other words, the father wants to take off any neder because once she becomes in a suah, she's no longer in his rishus. The husband wants to take off any neder because even though she's in a rishus, she's more in his rishus, and he can only be made for B'Koidmin as an arus. He can't be made for B'Koidmin as an suah, right? Beautiful. Good. So now, Freg Davi, they didn't hear the neder. They're saying in ambiguous terms. So this is really a shaila. The Gemara is going to ask, and the whole Gemara is predicated upon the shaila. Boy, Romi Barchama, Baal Mahu Sheyafer B'Loi Shmiya. Can the Baal take it off without hearing the neder? Now look at Rash. Look at Ran. Boy, Romi Barchama, Ki going Shlei Shamar. He didn't hear. V'Lo Yoda Klal Im Nadre Im Lav. Mahu Sheyafer Al HaSafik. Can you go ahead and take a neder off on the Safik? Now, who are we speaking about the next round? When it said Baal, it does not mean just the husband. Loishna Arus, it doesn't make a difference the husband in the state of Erisin. Loishna Baal in the state of Nesuin. Loishna Ba'avia Bekulim Isafkle. It's one big suffix. Do you have to hear the neder or not? In order to take off a neder, do you have to hear the neder or not? That's the shayla. So why would you think you have to hear the neder? Says the Gemara, V'shama isha dafkahu. It says V'shama isha. So we say that dafka what? You have to hear it. I love dafka. Well, the Torah is speaking the norm, right? When it says shmiya over here, is it hakpad on shmiya? Or again, since you're describing the Nedarim, and it has to be yom shamo, the verb is used, but not necessarily that he has to hear it. No. Again, the father also. Lav dafka. Amarava. Again, you saw the Ran said anyone. Doesn't make a difference. Why would it make a difference? Doesn't make a difference.
No, because he's saying you have to hear it.
Why do you have to hear? Again, because but again, I don't think it's limited to the husband, because the idea that you have to hear a neder is you're the one who takes off. That's the point. Okay. Because that's the point, you're taking off the neder. So, Amarav Tashma, Derech Talmidei Chachamim Amishna, and this was Avi's point. Achla Yatsa Bitoy Mietzloi, Oimela Kol Nedarim Shenadart B'Seich Beisi Harim Mufarim. Freg the Gemara, or not as Freg the Gemara, really is the Holy Shama. We didn't hear. So the Chayri, it's a proof that what you don't have to hear. In other words, if you have this formula that you can take off any neder that you made while you were in my jurisdiction as an arusa, so you don't have to hear the neder. So now there's two gerses, guys. We're going to go with this, the easier gerse. Okay, there's two gerses. We'll go with the easy one. Why not? Thank you. It's funny. The first time around, a lot of people find the Nedarim very hard. I mean, you fed Benji the first time around, found the Nedarim very hard. Doc, you have that look about you, yeah. Anyway, l'chishama. Who the Mefer, meaning it doesn't mean that he's being made for it now, guys. When he hears, will be made for it. He's saying the following: any neder that you made, right, is taken off. He didn't hear it. Then you know what? What he means is when he hears the neder, he will take it off. So the question is, why is he saying this then? If this is not a formula to take off a neder, what are you gaining by this, right? Okay, let's see the Ran. Again, Fred the Gemara Kasha. The Gemara, let's see the Gemara first. Says the Gemara, in Cain, if the formula of any neder that you made does not take off the neder, does not nullify it, Kilei Shama, Lama Leila Meimar. Why are you saying it? What? In other words, why are you saying it all if it doesn't help? It says no Hakamash Malon, Urchit Tzumur Abanon Lehidure. It's the derech of Talmidei Chachamim to go ahead and be madir their daughters and their husband and their spouses. It's the way to go ahead and inform them of Nedarim. Let's see, the Ran speaks beautifully, guys. Urchid Tzumur Abanon Ladure, Darko Shel Talmidei Chachamim Lachzor Aleha V'loimala. Why? Kidei lachnisa bidvarim mitoich kach. Hinaisenes aliba v'oimeres. 1 second. Neder ploini nedarti. Fu mefer. In other words, you want to remind her. In other words, it's really bad to have nedarim. So a Talmud Chacham, to ensure that his daughter and the husband taking in that the wife did not have a neder, the Talmud Chacham came out a plan by saying this. It'll go ahead and get her to 1 second. I do have a neder, and then they'll take it off l'chishama. But it's not a formula to take it off. And why is it helping? It helps to go ahead and jar her memory. Oh, 1 second, I must have a neder there that I could take off. So those are very. That's a very beautiful pshat.
So the whole mission is advice.
Advice.
Yeah.
Well, 1,000%. 1,000%. 1,000% it's advice. It's the derech Talmidei Chachamim. This is what they would do. Yeah, this is what they would do.
Yeah, but as opposed to if they do it, it comes off.
But no, but again, since I could learn this pshat in the Mishnah, right? You don't have a raya. You don't have a raya. You're just reverting. You want to say this pshat in the Mishnah again. In the guys, it's always very. I always say this all the time. The Gemara is the ultimate truth. Before the Gemara says Shema Mina, it goes ahead and exhausts every single possibility. Since I can learn pshat in this Mishnah, you can't be paisha the shayla from here. Since I can learn pshat in this Mishnah, you can't be paisha the shayla from here because I can learn this pshat in the Mishnah. Now, tosh mame seifa. Okay, let's look at the seifa in the Mishnah. So we said there's 2 players over here. There's the husband as she leaves, and the father as she leaves his rishus, and the husband before she's nichnas as an asua to his rishus. The chena bal actually tikonis to shusay. Oimer lo could say to her that what? That could say to her any neder that you have should be taken off. L'chayri he didn't hear it. Hachanami da'ama lo l'chishamana. When I hear it, same idea. Toshma. Ha'oimer le'ishtay. Someone says to his wife the following: Kol nedarim shetaduri. Now this is an asua, guys. This is an asua. Good. Ha'omer le'ishtay. What does ishtay mean? Not a rusasai. So this is not a din in naimurasa. This is a din in neder, and whether you have to hear a neder or not. So we're going to be pushed to neder, not from a case of naimurasa, but from a regular case of a husband taking off a neder. Ha'omer le'ishtay. Kol nedarim shetaduri at sha'avay b'makom pliny. Any neder that I make until I come from a place so and so, hari hein kayamim. Right? They should be mekuyim. We're gonna have this, guys. We're gonna have this later on. Okay. He didn't say anything. Okay. Harihei mufarim. They should be taken off. Rabbi Eliezer says what? They're taken off. Fred the Gemara v'halei shama. L'chayra, how can you say it's taken off? He didn't hear it. Right? Hachanami da'ama l'chishamana. Right? So it's when you hear. Right? The Gemara v'lamali, right? V'lamali min hashda. L'chishama leifala. Why, if that's the case, why is he saying this now? When he hears that later on, let him go ahead and take it off. And the Gemara Ksava Dilma mitaridna hahishaita. Maybe he'll be torrid in that time. So the implication is, since he's torrid in that time and he won't be able to take it off, he is taking it off lemafreya. Guys, this is different than the other case. The case by Arusa, l'chishama, he takes it off then. Over here, l'chori, he's taking it off when? Now. He's taking it off now, hashta. Why is he doing it now? If what? If he didn't hear it yet? Because when he eventually does hear it, we're worried that he may be tired and he won't remember to take it off. But this only engages when he hears the neder. This only engages when he hears the neder. That's the pshat over here. Okay, that's the another attempt. Toshma. The guy has a sharecropper, not sharecropper, some guy in charge of his estate. Kol Nedarim shenaderes ishti mikan va'at she'oven lo'komploni hafer. Any neder that my wife makes, any neder that my wife makes from the time I come until here, hafer should be taken off. For hafala, and he takes them off. Yachli mufarin. I might think that it's taken off. Tamid loymar. Isha yekimena v'isha yafirena. Divrei Yeshaya. Pirish. The guy makes his apotropos a shliach to take off the nedarim. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, why doesn't it work? Because isha yekimena v'isha yafirena. In other words, there's a gezeirus hakosav that the husband has to take it off. Divrei Yeshaya. Amar lo Rabbi Yona's son said Rabbi Yona's son Rabbi Yeshua. Matzina mechala Torah kula shlucha shaladim kamoso. So why can't he take it off? Va'afilu Rabbi Yeshua lo kamar elim mishum gezeres hakasavu ishi kimena v'ishi yifirena avol kuli alma shlucha shaladim kamoso I've lo shamali. In other words, guys, the following. Beautiful guys, little numbers. Guy says to his I'm making you a shliach. Any neder that my wife makes from the time point A to point B, any neder she makes, I want you to take off. I might think that if you take it off, it's taken off. Says the Gemara, you can't do it. Ishi kimenu v'ishi yafirenu. But it has to. Says Rabbi Yonason, we learned b'chol Torah kula that shluchah shladim kamaisai. So it's mashma, he could take it off. According to him, it's mashma, you could take it off. And now the Gemara says, va'afilu Rabbi Yoshia does not say you can't take it off, only because of Gezeres HaKasav. Mashmeh, who wasn't Gezeres HaKasav, you could take it off. I v'hoyle shmiele, he didn't hear the neder. That's the kasha. That's the kasha. Right. That's the kasha. I didn't hear it. Says the Gemara, Hachanami da'amalei l'chishama meifa la. Says the Gemara l'chishama leifala usava dilma mitrina. Maybe it'll be tough. Okay, so what's the last case, guys? We want to bring a raya in Ashayla of Rami Bar Chama. We're trying to bring raya after raya from a Mishnah. We're trying to bring rayas that you could take of a neder, even though you didn't hear the neder. The last case is Badish Shliach, right? That he didn't hear the neder. Since the husband didn't hear the neder, can't take it off. Good. Husband in the neder can't take it off. Why? Because there's a custom. You have to hear the neder. Says the Gemara, he did hear the neder. So if he did hear the neder, why does it help say these words to the Shliach? That lechim mitzrayim, that when he's saying it, that when he started, okay, now there's a big hash like this. Why can you make him a shliach to hear the neder? If you can make a shliach to be made for the neder, why can't you make him a shliach to hear the neder? Again, this is gezeres hakasav. We're saying without the gezeres hakasav, right? What's your teretz? Your kasha is, you didn't hear it. So what's the kasha? The shliach heard it. What? Why can't you make a shliach for shniya? That's the kasha. Okay, now you can't make a shliach for you can't make a shliach to put in tefillin. You can't make a shliach right to sit in the sukkah for you. So what's the hezbollah? So it's a rush. The rush is here, guys. Look at this rush. It's a good man marker. Look at the rush. The rush is v'haloi shmi'ala on the Amid base. Ayin base on the base. Says the rush. V'haloi shmi'ala. Kasher is good. He didn't hear it, but a shliach did hear it. Ushmias aputropis. The shmi'ah of his shliach, the aputropis, ain't a kishmias habal. It's not kishmias habal. The afal pi sha'asu shliach lahafer. Even though you made him a shliach to do a ma'isa to take it off, the midi de memela leishayich mina shlichus. Mili de memela, something that doesn't have a ma'isa, is not shayich mina shlichus. What does that mean, guys? Listen, I'll give you a good example. Tefillin. When you make how do you view shlichus? There's two ways to do shlichus. You are taking my place. So when you're doing something, it's like I'm doing something. That's one way to view it. Well, pshat is no. I made you a shliach to do a ma'isa for me. Good. I made you do a shliach to do a ma'isa for me. the answer is like the latter. I made you a shliach to do a ma'isa for me, but you're not me. So, what's the halacha in tefillin? Is the ma'isa of putting on tefillin, or tefillin should be on your body? And the answer is tefillin should be on your body, right? The mitzvah is not to put on tefillin. The mitzvah is to have tefillin on you. So I can't make you a shliach to have tefillin on you because you're not me. You are not me. You're not taking my place. Your act of putting on tefillin is not mekayim my mitzvah because the tefillin have to be upon me. Good. Your act of sitting in a sukkah cannot be mitzvah my mitzvah because I have to be in the sukkah, and you're doing the ma'isa for me doesn't make it. My act, the act of hearing a neder, I have to hear the neder. I can't appoint you to hear a neder. I have to hear it. I can appoint you to take off a neder, to do an action. I can't appoint you to make me. Something that requires me. Something that requires me, I can't go ahead with it. It's concise. This is concise. Yeah. Yes. What's your problem?
The second bracha is al mitzvah, so you could argue that
The act of putting on tefillin just means that you say you make a bracha on the tefillin. You put on tefillin, so you're putting it on for me. Listen what you're saying. There's a mitzvah that your act laniach on your guf, laniach on your guf. Good, but laniach tefillin, not in general. To put on tefillin or to put tefillin on you, I can't. You make me. In other words, it's only going to look shlichus. How do you view shlichus? Do you view like memali makam? And that's wrong. And that's it answers a big side. If shluchah shalom k'maisei b'chol tarakula, guys, b'chol tarakula, you say shluchah shalom k'maisei. A person's a shliach. So I can make a shliach to go ahead and give a get to my wife. Now, does that mean it's like me giving the get? No. I can make you a shliach to do a maisa. Good, I can do that. You can make a shliach to mekadesh nisha. Is it like you being me? You can't live with her afterwards. You're not me, right? You're not me. You can't be mekadesh. In other words, very good example. Could you mekadesh a nisha with bia? You can't. A shliach can't mekadesh nisha with bia. Of course not. Of course not. Because he's not you. Again, so let me finish. Get it clear. Get it clear. So now you can't make a shliach to so the Rosh is saying, guys, this apotropos, you make him. I can make you a shliach to go ahead and be mefer. I can give a get, mefer a neder. I can't make you a shliach to make you my ear. I can't make you a shliach to make you my ear. I can't make you a shliach to put on tefillin, to put tefillin on. Your arm is not my arm. Your bottom is not sitting in my sukkah, is not my bottom sitting in the sukkah. And you going ahead and hearing is not hearing. That's the rush. It's the rush. And the answer is that it answers the kasha. It's concise. Yeah. Okay. Now what's your kasha?
You say you're not me by taking it off also, but that's not true. It's hearing you.
You have to hear. Your ear has to hear. You can make him. You can make him to hear for you. You can make him do an action for you. But the memela is not an action. Hearing is not an action. Okay. Anyway, that's the concise to explain this morning. Tomorrow morning, the shir is going to be tomorrow morning, probably between 9:15, 9:30 in that area. Okay. That's Hashem Yisbarach. Okay. We'll be broadcasting from the 5 pounds.